You on, Kerry?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, I see you. Okay. Introducing Kerry Zolman.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that's a good deal for you guys, but we're going to try to start out tonight. If you want to add a comment or give us something you're working on. If not, we'll get started. And remember, if whatever you're going through, somebody else is going through it also.
Any questions? Push star 6.
Star 6. Okay. Nobody wants to talk tonight. Okay. We've had a couple of, we'll get started then. We've had a couple of people that went to the tax court this week and got their motion back. And what's happening is the tax court is starting to say we're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. And what that is, that's Rule 12b-6 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. So, how we're answering that is we're agreeing with them. The problem is there is no rule. I mean, there are no stating a claim. There is no claim, and the reason there's no claim, they never gave you a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination. So that's how we're answering it. And the reason we're answering it that way, because if you have to go to the appellate court, that's our answer. That's our answer next time. They're taking our due process away and saying that we're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. The problem is there is no there's no claim, because without a notice of deficiency and a notice of determination, what that is that is the claim. So they are correct. The only thing is we can't make a claim because there is no claim to make. I hope that makes sense.
There is no claim to make.
Well, there is no claim. What?
Kerry, I just happened to notice you said failure to state a claim where remedy cannot be, or
no. Relief.
Relief can be granted. Yeah, that's what Kirk Pendergrass is running into. Whenever you go after a bad act or CPS or somebody, whenever you go after them, the court will always tell you that exactly that statement.
Okay. Okay. Now let me explain to you what will help you with that. Now, here's where the problem is. That is Rule 12b-6. So if you know where it's coming from, you'll know, you'll understand what they're saying. So they're saying you're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. Okay, so you have to understand if they're what are they saying? Well, they're saying Rule 12b-6. Well, they're not a court of rules; they're a court of law. So what we have to do is we have to come up with an argument, not necessarily an argument per se, but we need to come up with a motion that would make sense for that statement. So they're saying you're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. Well, in our case, we're going to the tax court saying we never received a statutory notice of deficiency or a statutory notice of determination. And because of that, the notice of deficiency and the notice of determination happens to be, another word for that would be claim. So if there is no claim, how can you make a claim? Does that make sense now? So when you're going after whatever it was you said, CPS or whatever you said, you have to understand that's Rule 12b-6. We can't go in there and argue something other than that. It's what it is. It's a rule. So we have to go and look and see what they're saying and raise it as a rule. See, come back and say something to the effect. Under Rule 12b-6, this isn't a rule issue. This is a legal issue. See, we have to be able to answer it. If we don't understand what they're saying, and in the past we haven't, we're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. Well, we didn't understand what they were saying, so we would come back and say, well, according to whatever. See, that doesn't mean anything because there's no, that's a rule. That's not a, see, in other words, when you get that, you caught them with their pants down. They don't know what to do. You've got them in a position that they're asking the court, help me, because they don't have any answer for you. So that's kind of a fix all, cure all, throw all. And so what they're saying is they're in trouble and they need the judge to help them. So you go in and you answer that as a rule, not as a motion or not as a law. So you go in there and in most cases, you're going to say, well, of course there's no claim. And the reason there's no claim because the defendant, if you're the plaintiff, or the plaintiff, if you're the defendant, they admitted to the following, and you just tell them what it is. Therefore, there is no claim. They've already admitted it, and then move on. And what that does, that addresses that, so that if you have to appeal, you can appeal on the grounds, they said you're stating a claim that relief can't be granted, yet there's never been a claim issued. There is no claim. That's our complaint. My complaint is, I never received a statutory notice of deficiency. I never received a statutory notice of determination. That would be my claim. Okay, I'm a contractor. The guy that just asked that spoke that, are you still with me?
Yeah, I think so. CPS,
okay.
I was talking about.
Okay. I want to know, when are you going to send me my check for $10,000 for putting tile in your bathroom and remodeling your bathroom? When am I going to get my check? See, you're stuttering. See, the answer is, as soon as you finish it. See, that's what we have to be ready for. In other words, how can I get paid for something I haven't done yet? So you're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. In other words, I haven't been, Okay, so I'm gonna go to the court and say, okay, he won't pay me the $10,000 that he owes me. You're gonna say, you're saying you can claim that relief can't be granted. I'm gonna say, well, you mean I actually have to work for it? See, so we have to say, well, the reason I won't pay him the $10,000 is he didn't give me an estimate. He never gave me what I was going to use. He never showed me the drawings. I don't have any. I don't have anything. See, we have to address it that way, and the reason for it is what they're saying is Rule 12b-6. Now, if you'll go on your computer and put in Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 12, B as in boy, the number 6, you'll see it, stating a claim that relief can't be granted. So what they're telling you, instead of saying, well, we want this case dismissed because of Rule 12b-6, see, that doesn't make any sense. But what they're saying is, you're stating a claim that relief can't be granted. So we're trying to come back to, okay, let me see. The claim that I want to make is It doesn't matter. It's not, what they're saying is a rule. If we understand that, then we go back and say, well, thank you for that. I'm glad you said that. But you're correct. The government did give me a claim, and then move on. And I want this case dismissed on the grounds they admitted not giving me a claim, therefore they have nowhere to hide. See, now it would be proper and right if this court that has jurisdiction to rule in my favor on the grounds they admitted not giving me a claim. See, instead of not knowing what they're doing, that's a rule. We just need to use the rule against them. Now, does that make sense there, Guy? I don't know who you are, and it's, I'm not trying to get you to say your name or nothing.
Yeah, I'm Patrick in Houston. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. They throw it at us. Whenever we come at them, we would, claim against one of their agents. They'll say that you failure to say a claim. So that defuses us. But if they throw it back our way, now we got to defuse it.
Well, exactly. You're exactly right. The IRS agent said he never gave me a notice of deficiency or notice of determination. That's the claim. Now he's saying I didn't give him a claim. I couldn't give him a claim because I don't have a claim to give. That's the reason we're here. I need the court to say this case is dismissed on the grounds the IRS already admitted it. They didn't state a claim. See? Or in other words, no notice of deficiency, no notice of determination. Parentheses, decline. See, we just have to understand what they're saying and try to manipulate, or not manipulate, but use what they're saying against them. What I've been saying now on everything that happens to me, if I get pulled over by a police officer, when he walks up to the car and he says to me, driver's license and registration, I say, before I give you anything, I just want to make this very clear, sir or madam. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Now, what do you want? They're taken back by it. They don't know what to say. They're absolutely taken back by it. License and registration. Well, in my truck, I have my marriage license laminated, and I hand it to him. Because he didn't say, I make them ask for everything they want. And registration. So I have my last year's license plate. When you pull it, there's a little sticker that goes on the window. When you pull it off, it says behind there, registration. I hand them back. And I don't say another word. I sit there and he says, that's not what I want. Well, that's what you asked for. Remember, that's what you asked for. See, now, I already told him anything he says can or will be used against him. Now, see, what that does, that puts them in a position they don't want to be in. I'm not going to stand there and sit there and fight with the guy. He's got a club, a taser, he's got a big flashlight and a gun. See, then they'll ask me to get out of my truck. I can't. What do you mean you can't? Why not? Because the government you work for says guns kill people. I'm a people, and you're carrying on your hip a known killer. I'm not getting out unless you put the known killer in your car and lock it up. So I'm safe. Again, see, he does anything he says can or will be used against him. Now, if he forces me out of my truck, what I mean is get out of your truck. Well, I'm fearing for my life. See, I've got all these things that I can bring up later. I'm not going to fight the guy beside the thing. I just bring up questions that I can use later. Now, I just got a IRS letter 2 days ago, and I got one today for the first time in probably close to a year. The IRS told me that I asked them a question January the 8th, and it says, your letter January the 8th, we're diligently trying to answer it. We need an additional 90 days. You're asking for one of the following, and they tell me what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for any of those. So what I started doing is, this is a good idea. When somebody gets a letter, what I do is I take that letter, make it look just like that, and then I say to the IRS, you're looking for one of the following. You're looking for a check, silver, gold, bullets, underwear, whatever. I make up 4 or 5 things, and I put them there. I am diligently looking for it. I can't find it right now. So I need 90 more days to find one of the things you're asking for. They're not asking for that. They're asking for something else. That's what I'm going to take 90 days. There's no need for you to write me another letter. There's no need for you to get in contact with me. I'll be in contact with you in 90 days. And I send it back. Now, they don't know what to do because, see, in 90 days, I'm going to send them another letter just like that because this is, remember, January. In less than a month, January's here. It's been a year. I asked them a question in January the 8th. They haven't answered it yet. I just got another 90-day letter. So that would be 3 months, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's the fourth letter I got for a question that I asked them in January, and they still can't find it. So I thought, well, this is a great deal. So I make the letter look like that. I word it the same way, and then I put on there, I know you're looking for one of the following. See? You're looking for a check, silver, gold, coins, Federal Reserve notes, debt, but I can't find it. You got me to put in whatever they say. I'm going to take another 90 days because I just need it. Don't contact me no more. I'll be in contact with you, and I send it back to them. So we started doing that, and we've got out probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 letters like that now, and we haven't heard anything from them, but I'm not sure it's been out long enough to really do it. But see, we have to stop doing it the way well, I've always done it this way. Doesn't matter to me. See? And for those of you that haven't gone to the tax court yet, it's taking a long time now because of COVID and everything else. But when you send your Form 2 off to the tax court, they'll get you out of the book and they'll give you a docket number relatively quick, 3 or 4 weeks, and you'll get it. If you get a letter from the IRS, what I'm doing with that is I'm saying, thank you for your letter, dated so-and-so. I'm litigating that particular thing. Here's C docket number, whatever it is. You're trying to influence the court. There's no need for you to contact me anymore until the court rules on the very issue you're talking about. I send it back with my docket number and send it back. Because now, if they interfere with you, they're trying to interfere with your right to go to the tax court. These are just weird stuff that I'm thinking, maybe I should try that. And we're doing that. And what's happening is the IRS would send out a letter saying, well, we're going to go ahead and send what do you call that? A lock-in letter, or we're going to go ahead and do a levy on your bank account. We send them the letter saying, hey, here's our docket number. We haven't even got our order yet. We just send it out and say, hey, we're going to the tax court for that very issue. Right now, here's my docket number. You can't interfere with that because if you do what you say you're going to do, you're interfering with the United States tax court. Oh, by the way, the tax court's ruling is final, and I send that with it. So what's happening is it's like I don't know what to say. They don't know what to do about it. The other thing that I'm using on them is there's a what is it called? Maybe I should look it up first, but it's called the doctrine when something's not making any sense. What do they call that? Let me find it here. What is that called when they're trying to doctrine of hold on. What is it called, Dad? Help me out here. When you don't know what they're talking about.
Confused?
Yeah, well, it is confused, but it's the doctrine of I forgot what it's called. Anyway, I'm using that on them too. They just in other words, what it says is if the government writes a statute or the government says something that's confusing, but that's not the word they're using. They have to rule in the citizens' favor. Well, I'm using that against them. Your letter is unintelligible. Say that again.
Ambiguity.
Well, that's what it means, but that's not what. That's not the. It's the I've got it here. Let me find it real quick so I can read it. But it's called the doctrine of. Oh shoot! I just wish I wasn't so brain dead sometimes. What is it called? When you're confused, what is that called? Help me out if you can. Oh Lordy! Oh, I have it here. I just got to find it. Let me see. Anyway, I'm using that on them, and then I tell them, well, what you're doing is you're not consistent with whatever it is, and so I need to implement this doctrine here. What is it called? Anyways, anybody got a question? I'll find it here in a minute. I'm on my computer. I'll find it here in a minute. I just gotta find it. Does anybody have a question? Okay, has anybody gone to the tax court in the last few weeks?
Conjecture?
Say that again?
Conjecture.
No, that's what it means.
Falling short of belief.
What?
A slight credence falling short of belief.
Right, but you're right. All that's what it means. But let me find it here. What it says is it's the. I cannot believe this is happening to me, but I guess I should believe it because it's happening. It's the. But that's okay. I'll find it here in a minute. I'll just find it in a minute here. What we're going to do is, does anybody have a question for me that I can help you answer?
Yes, I have a question.
Please ask it.
Ask it? Okay. I have a gentleman that went to tax court and got a thing that that they don't have jurisdiction.
Right.
And then they still lien him. They liened his stuff. How do you assert that?
Okay. When you say he liened them, did they go to the county?
No, the IRS sent letters to the county and what else?
Okay. Okay. What you need to do is you got to understand. Go to the county. Okay. Go to the county and pull the lien that he has.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you get the lien,
yes,
you'll be able to work on it from there. Then what you can do is from there, you can ask them that you've gone to the court and it should be released. They're not going to do it, but see, what you're trying to do is you ask them for the lien and they're going to give it to you. But the problem is it's not a lien; it's a notice of lien.
Right, right.
Okay, see, so and then what you tell them is, I went to the tax court, I adjudicated it, and I had it downgraded to a notice of lien. So once you get the county admitting it's a lien, see, then you work on the county because they're the weak link in this. Does that make sense?
Right, they're the ones that are doing it illegally, right?
That is
the county.
The county, that's correct, and that's the weak link. Now, the other thing you can do is there's a 12277 form. Okay.
Say that again.
A 12277 form.
So 12277 form.
All right, you fill it out and you mail it to the IRS with your court order. They're going to say you don't qualify because of 63 6332J. Are you in front of a computer?
Yes, I'm in front of a computer.
Okay, I would like for you to do me a favor. Go online, and when you get it, then come back. I'm going to show you where the problem is. I want you to go online and download a 1040 instruction booklet.
The 1040
instruction booklet, not the form, the instructions.
For the 1040. Okay. Download it. Okay.
And then when you get it downloaded, come back, and I'm going to have you read it and show you how we're addressing that.
Okay. It's downloading. Sure. All right. I'll mute myself.
Okay, and then come back on when you got it. Does anybody else have a question? Thank you.
Yeah, what's the legal term when you can't understand something?
I'm trying to figure that out, dude. Quit making fun of me.
We could just call it why don't we just call it a carry?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that because, oh my land, it just, what it is, anyway, there's a doctrine, and it's called the, I have a friend of mine that sent it to me too, and I'm looking for it right now, and I had it downloaded here earlier, so I wouldn't forget.
What they're doing, Alzheimer's?
Well, I'm getting old. It's old timers, bud, I think.
Are you talking about the Chevron doctrine?
No, not the Chevron doctrine. It's actually, vagueness. It's the vagueness doctrine. And then what the vagueness doctrine says is, if the government writes a statute or writes an order that's vague, it's null and void, and they have to rule in the citizen's favor. So, what happens is, when you get something that's vague, I have the doctrine, the vagueness doctrine, and what we're doing is, we're saying it's vague, I don't understand. So, we give them a chance to explain it. In other words, I'm going to ask you a question. The guy that just asked me that, is that okay if I do that?
Yeah.
All right. How tall is tall?
Pretty relative, isn't it?
See?
How
that's
short is
vague,
short?
Right? There you go. But that's vague. See, that's vague. Well, how tall is tall? Well, I don't know. It's vague. So under the vagueness doctrine, it's whatever you say it is now. Well, tall would be 6 foot and 1/4 inch. Anything above that would be gigantic. See, under the vagueness doctrine, the government said how tall is tall. They're asking me. So when I answer it, they have to live with it because they didn't say 6'5" is tall. See, so anything that they say, if it's vague, and what they'll say is according to 6901, that's not the right place. You have to pay a penalty. Well, that's vague. A penalty on what? Well, on being late. It's still vague. Under the vagueness doctrine, you can stop that. So if they got a lien at the county, see, and after you give them a few letters, they're going to come back and say, well, we have to do it because the IRS said. Well, that's awful vague because it's not a lien. It's a notice of lien. Now, does that make sense, anybody?
You're talking about the void for vagueness doctrine.
There you go, void for vagueness. That's right. So what's happening is you get a letter in the mail, and the letter will say, you made $42,000 last year, and because you didn't file a tax return on time, you owe $92,000 in taxes. That makes no sense. That's totally, completely, that's unintelligible. That's how I write my letter. That's unintelligible. I owe more than I made. That's vague. So under the vagueness doctrine, that letter is void. Anyway, that's just one of the things that I'm starting to come across. But it's the vagueness doctrine. Thank you for helping me figure that out, because what's happening is they're not letting us, they don't like what we're doing, I can tell you that right now.
No, they do not.
Hello?
So, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. It's pulled up the Form 1040 instructions.
Okay, now go to page 100, and when you go there, I'm going to show you how you deal with the lien in the county. When you get to page 100, let me know you're there so we can go through it together. While that's happening, does anybody have another question? And by the way, does the vagueness doctrine, does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
Here it is, I found it. Here it is, right here. Okay, now here's what the vagueness doctrine says. The definition of vagueness doctrine: a constitutional rule that requires criminal laws to state explicitly and definitively what conduct is punishable. Now, and then it goes and does a few other things. And what it does is it says by not being explicit, it violates your due process, the Fifth and the Fourth Amendments. And then it gives you a Supreme Court case from 2010. So that's I'm using that as part of my package when need be. So, anyways, are you there now? Are you at the page 100?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's at the very top of that page? What is the very top of the page? What does it say?
It says Disclosure Privacy Act and Paperwork Reduction Action Notice.
Okay, that's perfect. Now, there's 3 columns. Go to the left-hand column, come down to the 3rd paragraph, start reading that, and I'm going to stop you along the way so you can understand what we're trying to do here. Go ahead and read that to me now.
Where it says estimated of taxpayer burden?
No, the 3rd paragraph on the left-hand column.
The 3rd paragraph. Our legal right.
Stop right there. Okay, hold on.
Yes, our legal right to ask for information.
Hey, hold on now. I'm gonna have to. Okay, now you're going too fast. This isn't a race. Who's our? Who's our?
Our legal.
Okay. Who's? Okay, stop. You're not listening now. Okay. It says our legal right. Who's our?
Okay.
Who's our?
Us. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, if you don't know, then how can you use this? Who wrote the booklet?
They did.
Okay, no, not they. Those did it. Mimi did it. Bobby did it. Chinese. See, when you say that, that aggravates me because that's vague. You can't use it. Now, let me ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
How big is big? How big is big? How big is big?
I don't know because I don't know.
See, you said they. Who's they? Who's they?
Right.
No,
IRS.
Right. Right is. Now read it that way. See, we got to understand what it says so when you use it, you can understand it. So read it that way. Instead of saying our, say the IRS's legal right. Now, stop right there. What's the opposite of legal? What's the opposite of legal?
Illegal.
Okay, so the IRS's legal right to ask for information. Now, go ahead and read that for me, and I'll stop you again when it's time. Go ahead.
Okay. So it says the IRS legal right to ask for information is Internal Revenue Code sections 006011 and 6012A in the regulations.
Stop right there. Now, when you do a 12277 form, they're going to come back and say, you don't qualify because of 6332J. Tell me what the IRS just did.
Okay. The code 60 what?
Okay. They're going to come back and say you don't qualify to have your notice released because of 6332J. What did they just do?
It's not in there.
So read the, read the first three words again. The IRS is what?
The IRS legal right to ask for information.
Stop. So it's not in there. So what are they doing? If it's not legal, what would it be?
Illegal.
So if the IRS says to you, you don't qualify because of 6331J, according to the Paper Reduction Act, Privacy Act notice, they just broke the law. Did they not?
Yeah.
So there's how we deal with it right there. Doesn't that make sense? Again, that's very vague to me, so I'm going to assume you don't have a clue.
Well, the thing of it is, the 611 and the 6012 and A and the regulation.
Okay, so what regulations are they talking about?
Anything, I guess.
No, 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulations. Those are the only three. Okay, those are the only three sections in the Internal Revenue Code that the IRS has a legal right to talk about. So if they say to you, you have to file a tax return because of 6901, tell me what the IRS just did.
Okay.
Okay, nope, that's not true. Nope, they didn't do okay. Nope, incorrect. What did they just do?
They broke the rules.
Nope, they did not break the rules. Read it again.
It says IRS legal right.
Stop. So if they don't do the legal right, what did they just do?
Illegal.
So if they say to you 6332J, what did they just do?
Well, is it legal?
Nope. You're not getting it. I don't understand. No, they broke the law. In other words, 6001, 6011, 6012, and the regulations is their legal right. According to 6332J, you don't qualify. What did the IRS just do?
Well, they're wrong because if you said...
No, absolutely, no, you're incorrect. They're not wrong. If I break a dish, that's wrong. If I rob a bank, that's illegal. Oh. So what did the IRS do when they say you can't have your lien lifted on the ground 6332J, and they give you that 100% of the time? What did they just do?
Well,
nope, not well.
They're going to say they can't lift them.
Stop right there. Okay, they're going to tell you to jump off a roof. They're going to tell you to go get naked and jump in a snowbank. Doesn't matter what they say. I don't care. What did they just do when they tell you 6332J? What did they just do? Read it again for me, please. Read it again for me. There you go. There you go. Let me ask you a question, okay? I need you to go to my dealer and pick up 75 pounds of cocaine. Would you do that and bring it? Would you do that?
No.
Why?
It's illegal.
Why?
I'll go to jail. It's illegal.
Duh. We'll put them in jail. They're breaking the law. Okay.
Yeah.
See how simple it is? You're trying to overthink this. Okay. That's how you deal with it. You do a 12277 form. They're going to come back and say you don't qualify because of 6332J. Then we go to work. According to your own publications under the Privacy Act, Paper Reduction Act, your legal right is 6012A and the regulation. You said 6332J. I'm giving you one chance. Release it or go to jail. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
See how simple this is? Let's stop overthinking it. Thank you for that. Yes.
Hey, Kerry.
Yeah. Yes.
Make sure she's dealing with a local court that she's using certified copies of that court case.
Correct. Now, when you get your court case, just use a certified copy of the case. Call the court where you got your notice, your order to dismiss. Call the court and ask them for get you 3 or 4 certified copies. You'll pay for them. They'll mail them to you. Has the blue ink signature of the judge and has a stamp on it saying this is certified. So
certified.
That way you have a right now. You have a certified copy. Now let me ask you a question, okay? I need you to pick me up since you don't want to pick up cocaine. Would you pick up some heroin for me?
No.
Why is that? No, it's not. No, it's not. Cocaine is different than heroin. It's different. So why won't you do it? Well, see what you're too vague. But they're what? But they're what?
Illegal.
So in other words, you go to jail if you carry around cocaine in your car, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If an IRS agent tells you to do something illegal, won't he go to jail? Ain't that something? There's plenty. We got room for them. Don't worry about filling up the courtroom. Don't worry about filling up jail. We got room for them. We'll find a place for them.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So you pretty much file, to get the lien off, and then they're gonna come back with the, you're gonna apply to file the lien, the notice of the lien, but they're gonna say you don't qualify because the, of this form, the 633J. But then
they're gonna say because of Title 266332J. Well, it says right there, 6001, 6011, 6012 is their only legal right. Anything else they talk to you about, if they write you a letter and say, we're going to come and see you, what we do, you got to come down to the courthouse and talk to the judge because we're going to put you in jail for willful failure to file. Unless it's in those 3 sections, they just broke the law. Buddy, bring it on. We've gone to court 18 times this year. 18 times. The judge spanked the IRS agent and told the IRS they couldn't come back after the person. They just stick a fork in it. It's done. It's over. Why? They can't use illegal. They can't make you do something illegal, and that's what they're trying to do.
Right. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, you don't want to do heroin and you don't want to do cocaine. Would you stop on your way? I need you to come here. Pick up. I got 650 pages of child pornography. Would you pick it up and bring it to me? I already paid for it. Would you just pick it up and bring it to me?
No, because it's
why?
I'll go to jail.
See? Then let's put them in jail. You put 6 or 7 of these pricks in jail, guess what they won't do anymore?
They won't be writing all these threatening letters.
Ain't that something? See, a letter that they write to you, if they write you a threatening letter, you take and say, thank you for your letter. Man, thank you. Man, thank you for your letter. But you're using illegal activity as a legal tool. You're using a felony as a legal tool. You're breaking the law. See? According to your own publication, Privacy Act and Paper Reduction Act notice, you are using illegal. I'll give you one chance. You can reverse what you're doing or I'll see you in court.
Yeah.
Guess what they...
So they're using illegal.
What's the opposite of legal? Okay, my legal right is to get up and go to work. But if I get up and rob a bank, if my legal right is to go to work and on the way to work I rob a bank, what did I just do?
You did illegal because you robbed the bank instead of going to work.
Okay. Okay, then let's back up. I rob a bank with a hammer that I bought from Lowe's. You rob a bank with a .50 caliber fully automatic rifle. who goes to jail? The 50 caliber automatic rifle is illegal. You can't have one of those. They're illegal. It's a military issue. Who goes to jail? You robbed it with a 50 caliber fully automatic, and I robbed it with a hammer. Who goes to jail?
Well, the one that's got to go to jail is the one with the illegal gun.
Really? The hammer's not illegal, but robbing the bank is. So we both would go. But see now, but I took a hammer. Don't matter that I used a hammer. It's illegal. That's what they're doing. They're using an illegal act to force you to do something. So guess what?
Yeah.
See? It's like robbing a bank. Doesn't matter how you rob the bank. It makes no difference. Robbing a bank's illegal whether you do it with a squirt gun or a real gun. Doesn't matter. Whether you use a crowbar or a machete. It doesn't matter. Robbing the bank is illegal, not the tool you did it with.
Right. So they're using an illegal act because it's not even a law, one of their laws.
No, it is one of their laws, but it's illegal. They can only use 6001, 6011, 6012A. That's all they can use. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I want you to tell me what's wrong with it. Okay? I'm going to put you in. I'm putting you in prison because you didn't file the right tax return according to 6901. Tell me what I just did.
You're threatening me, number one. Number two, where's the evidence?
Okay, don't matter what the evidence is. I'm the IRS. That's incorrect. I threatened you for one, and number two, I used an illegal act. It's not 6001, 6011, or 6012A.
Right.
See, this is not different. Okay, so now here it is. You have to go to court. And you're in front of the judge, and the prosecuting attorney says we want to put her in jail on the grounds she doesn't file a 1040 according to 6439. What would you say?
I will say that's illegal because you only the Internal Revenue Code. I'll give them the sections.
See, the only thing that's legal is 6001, 6011, 6012A. That's it.
Yeah.
You're outside of. See, you're outside of that. See.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I sure would like to see the how that gets approached. It's a lot of guts.
No. All right, right. Do a 12277 form. Fill it out just like it needs it. If you need help with it, email Ed, and Ed will give you my number, and I'll help you fill it out and tell you where to mail it, and then watch what happens. You're going to get a letter from the IRS, and they're going to say you don't qualify because of 6332J 100% of the time. Now we've got something to work with.
Right. Tell them that it's illegal.
There it is. Well, thank you for telling me that, but 6332J is illegal. I'm going to give you one chance. Pull the lien, or I'm going to have you put in jail on the grounds you're using a felony as a legal tool. And don't worry about it. Let them worry about it. See? They're the one that chose to do it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. You have to use their law against them.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while you're at it, if you will, I'm going to have other people ask questions. I want you to go to put in your computer and put in Title 26,
okay,
6212. That's one of their 6001, 6011, and 6012. Sorry, it's 6012. So Title 26, Section 6012. When it pops up and you get it there, come back on. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, thank you so very much. 6012. Does anybody else have anything they want to ask?
Hey, Kerry, I just wanted to mention the U.S. court is no longer issuing certified copies of the court order by mail. Now they email them to you because of COVID.
That's even better. That's even better because then you can print out as many as you want. You only have to pay for one, and then you can print as many as you want.
Kind of how I felt about it too. That's the general way they're dealing with this court stuff nowadays with COVID. So go ahead and print them out.
Yeah, there you go. So pay for one, and print you 100. Thank you for that. I did not know that. But that's a wonderful thing.
Yep.
Thanks. Does anybody else have a question? Okay. For those of you that have been on a call before, you kind of realize that I'm kind of a nut job here. But what I'm able to do is we're putting together some arguments that they don't know how to handle. They don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to answer them. And one of them is 6001, 6011, 6012A because it's in their own publication. See, and so that's what. So I'm using whatever I can. See, when I write them a letter, I tell them, "Thank you for your letter, dated so and so, enclosed for your convenience." Oh, by the way, see, anything you say can and will be used against you. You said 6332J. 6332J is outside your legal right. See Exhibit A. And I send them that page highlighted with that statement saying that has nothing to do with 6001, 6011, and 6012A and the regulations. So I'm giving you one chance. You can pull the lien at the county. So I live in Tarrant County. You can pull the lien at Tarrant County, or I'll just sue you for violating the law by using a felony as a legal tool. And go and then move on. I'm getting better luck using Title 26 than I am everything else. Does anybody else have a question? Please ask it. Because we're trying our best to help you. I'm not here because I want to be. I'm here to help you where I can. I just have a very unique way of looking at stuff. So I'm trying to give you what I can where I can. Does anybody have any more questions?
A quick comment.
Please do.
So I had an IRS lien placed on my house. I was also battling property taxes at the same time. Was battling both. Right. The IRS stopped, kind of left me alone because I did your process and sued them. And they left me alone. And I hadn't heard anything more from them, but the lien was still sitting there, and I hadn't filed the 12277. So while this property tax thing was going on, they sold my house. I never had a day in court, and they sold my house. And they did it with the IRS supposed lien, which y'all know it's not really a lien, it's a notice of lien, but they try to make you think it's a lien. And I guess the fact that they sold the house with that sitting on it proves it's not really a lien.
Right. That would be a true statement there. What you had a problem with then is the IRS sold it, or did the state sell it?
No, the state sold it with the supposed IRS lien still sitting on it.
Right.
So if it really had an IRS lien sitting on it, how could they have sold it?
Exactly. See, yeah. Exactly. So there's some more proof that it's not a real lien.
Right.
And by it being, the other thing that I'm trying now, I'm working on this now, is a notice of lien is not a lien. So I'm confused. Wouldn't that be vague or not? Maybe I'm trying to see something that's not here.
No, I agree. And actually in one county in Oregon sometime back, they did get one county recorder to record notices of lien separate from liens. And what happened is their whole lien category got moved over to notice of lien, and they didn't have any IRS liens in the county.
See, we just have to beat on them really bad. But part of the problem we're having is, for those who don't, my main thing is definitions of words. Okay, I have a glossary page, and in my glossary page I use Black's Law Dictionary to define the words. And the reason I do that is the words are, when you define a word in Black's Law Dictionary versus the English dictionary, you find out really quick where the problem is. Things that are normal, they're not normal there. In other words, if you're trying to understand what they're saying, and they say to you, blue doesn't mean blue. Not it means something else. Even though
right.
And so I start everything that I do. I start with a glossary page. If I on the 12277, I don't necessarily do it with that. But if I write a letter to the IRS, they write me a letter and say, you know, here's a CP whatever 501. I go back and I answer the CP 501 saying thank you for your letter, but I'm confused. Here's my glossary page. Everything that you say in your letter has to come into with my glossary page. And if there's anything that they use that I don't think is part of it, I'll bring that out to them, saying, you know, you're saying this, but this is what you're really saying. Is that true? They don't really like that, but I don't care. I don't do this because they like it or they don't like it.
Right. Right. Well, you say that's your niche and your groove, but I think one of your great talents is to word salad the attorney. Yeah. Well, what happens is, you know, I've been real successful with stuff like that, and more so probably than I should have been. But I've been really, really successful with it, and all I'm trying to do is share it with you. That's it. So, I try to stay on the calls. I try to stay on the calls and listen because it keeps my mind sharp and in that think so that I can prepare for court. Because you do have a unique way of doing that, and if somebody can grasp that, and it takes listening to you over and over and over, and you know, I've sat here and rolled my eyes and said, I'm listening to this for the 50th time. What am I doing? And then it crystallizes in my brain, and it's like, oh, that's why I keep listening. Because at some point, after you keep listening, it just crystallizes in your brain what you're trying to say and how you go through questioning with them. When they question you, how you answer and what you say back. And once you listen to that over and over and over, I guess, you know, some of us, it takes a little bit longer. There's probably other people that learn a lot faster than me, but once I listen over and over and over, then it begins to crystallize, and I'm like, okay, now I get it, how to answer these questions and talk to these guys. So I just think it's really important for people to know, listen, if you tune into these calls every time they have one, and he says the same thing 100 times over, please keep coming back and listening, because at some point it's going to crystallize in your head. And, you know, if you have his number, you're going to call him like I did and say, oh, my God, you won't believe what I just did.
Gary?
Yes.
I'm the person that told me to.
Okay, now read the heading only. Only read the heading on 6012. Read the heading on it.
Yeah, the heading, it says the heading is 612. persons required to make returns of income.
Okay, so the reason, if you don't know what it is, see, so then if you don't file a return, why don't you? Well, because if you read 6012, you'll know whether you're supposed to, who's supposed to, because in the 6012s, let's see,
it's persons.
It doesn't matter. Okay, persons. It tells you who's supposed to file and who's not. Now, the one thing that I say every time on every call just about is it's not about you, okay? It's never about you. So whether you're a people, a person, a thing, an object, it doesn't matter. It's about the law. It's about Title 26. What does Title 26 say? If Title 26 says you have to do it, then you have to do it. But everywhere they tell you have to do it, they're going to tell you 3 or 4 times you don't have to do it. So, do you mind if I ask you another question?
No.
Do you file a 1040?
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Okay. Stop right there. See what you're doing? You're going to open yourself up, and I'm going to tear your head off. Because, see, that's TMI, too much information. That's our problem right there. Do you file a 1040? Well, I did when I was 15, but when I turned 16, but then that ain't what I asked you. The question is, do you file a 1040?
Yes.
That's a yes or a no. See? What? Go ahead.
Well, the answer is yes. I filed because it had my W-2s that were erroneous, and I wanted to rebuttal it and get my money back.
That's fine. I don't care why you did it. See? Do you see what you did? Now that you said that your W-4s were bogus, then why did you take them? So you turned in a bogus, your own testimony, you turned in a bogus W-4 with your 1040, and so you sent a bogus paper to the federal government. Is that what you're admitting to?
Yeah.
See? Now, that's where the problem comes. We give them too much ammunition. See? When they ask me a question, I answer the question, but I answer the question so outside of the norm, they don't know what to do. They throw me out. They don't even want to deal with me. In fact, I've got several courtrooms here now that they won't even let me in. When I show up, if I get a ticket, I just hit 9 on my phone and I speed dial the courthouse, and the judge says it's dismissed. He won't let me in the courtroom because every time I go in, they lose money. Because I can't. That's just the way I am. Does that make sense?
Yes, I wish you could teach me.
Well, if you be on these calls, you'll learn it. You'll pick it up. Now, does anybody else have a question? Thank you so much for being the guinea pig today. I appreciate that very much.
Sure.
But does anybody else have a question?
No, but I have a statement, if you don't mind.
I do mind, but it ain't going to do you no good. Go ahead.
I just wanted, Dr. Harvey wanted me to say hi to you.
Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you.
I worked with him today.
Yeah, okay. All right, I know who it is then. All right. Does anybody have a question? The guy that just said that about Harvey, are you still with me?
They said what?
Okay. Do you file a 1040?
Well, yes.
All right. Now, I don't care that you do or don't. Can you tell me why you do?
Because the part-time work that I do at a place of business takes out, well, they take out my Social Security. They don't take out any taxes. I don't make enough money.
Okay, so then...
But I'm also married.
All right. You're not going to believe this, but I'm married too, and I don't fill one out. And the reason I don't fill one out, because the lady that read that, it says on there that you must file a return or a statement. Why don't you just file a statement? That's what it says.
Yeah, I've been following along, reading all that.
Put on your W-4, married and 6. They'll take almost nothing out of you. Then at the end of the year, write a statement. Eat shit and die, put it in an envelope, mail it back. That's my statement. And mail that page with it.
Okay. Well, how do you stop the Social Security?
Well, there's a way to do it. It's not easy. That is a little more difficult because that's but that's a little more difficult. But that's only 6.5%. So if that's all I had to pay, where income taxes, it's about 30% plus that. So you'll save 30% by doing it that way. So you'll save 30%. But if you'll look at that part that she read, go to page 100 of the 1040 instructions, go to the third paragraph on the left-hand column. It says our legal right. The IRS's legal right to ask for information is 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulations. Now, if you read those, it'll tell you real quick you're not liable for anything that they do. Then it says, they say that those 3 sections say you must file a return or statement. My question is, a 1040 is a return, but so is a 1041, so is a OID, so is a 1099, so is a 1041, so is a 941, 942, 943. So it doesn't tell you what return to file. You've chosen, and you see, that's where the voluntary comes in. You voluntarily fill out a 1040. See, because if you file a return or statement, the word or means this one or that one. Either one, they're equal. In other words, a return or a statement's the same. Well, a return, I file a return, and the return that I file, I get back every dime I've ever made every year. But that's what I do. So it doesn't say what return it doesn't tell me what return to fill out, so I pick the return that's most advantageous to me. See, there's several returns. Several of them will give you everything that you made. If you make $40,000, they'll write you a check for $40,000. If you made $100,000, they'll give you a check for $100,000. They don't care because of the double book entry. So it's a bizarre, very ignorant system that we have. So anyway,
which form?
I'm not going to tell you on here. I'm not going to tell you on here.
Okay.
If you're interested in it, get a hold of Harvey. He knows how to get a hold of me, and you call me, or get a hold of him. I'll help you with that. It's not a problem. But the problem that I'm having is if you don't do it exactly the way they tell you to do it, it creates a problem for you. But we're getting checks back for people now on a regular basis.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, the guy that was on here earlier, he's from area code. Let's see if I can find it real quick here. I think he knows what it's talking about. You came on right at the very beginning.
Patrick from Texas?
No, he's from...
You talking to me?
Are you Dan?
Talking to me?
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what happened to you, what you're going through, or what happened today, or in the last few days?
I would probably prefer waiting. I would probably prefer waiting till I get that thing in my hot little hands.
That's fine. I appreciate that, and then you can tell us, and not a problem. Okay. Does anybody else have a question?
When is your next call? That's my next question.
2 weeks.
All right, in 2 weeks I'll have that in my hot little hands.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions that I can answer for them?
So, question.
Yeah.
So, I did the petition number 2.
Yep.
And got my favorable ruling. And then had to switch my attention to some other legal cases. But it was my understanding that, and so I'm kind of coming back to this case now. It was my understanding if they had put a lien on us, we could foreclose on that and get a refund of the amount of the lien. Is that correct? Do I have that?
There is a form. You're very similar. It's close, but there is a form that you can do that would do that. Yes.
Okay. Now I did the 12-277.
Okay, and what did it? And tell me what it said.
I think what you said, the 6323J, but it also said
6332J.
Yeah. It said I could appeal, but before I appealed, I had to call and get scheduled an appointment with them, and I never could get them to honor the appointment.
That's right. Now, here's the problem you're going to have, okay? I'm a thief and I'm a liar. The only way I'm going to let you out of this, headlock is if you give me everything you got. See, the problem is they're telling you what you can and can't do. I figured that what does a liar do? They lie. So since they're liars, I don't believe what they're saying anyway. I never believe what they're saying anyway. So, they're going to tell me. They tell me all the time, well, you have to do this first. I don't have to do diddly squat first. I'm going to do what I want to do first. That's what I'm going to do. And so that's what I do. The reason I come up with some of these arguments that I come up with is because of the way I think, number one. And number two, I do it the way I do it because they tell me I can't do it. Now, maybe this is good or bad, but when I was a kid, my dad would say, don't touch my new tools. When he would get in his car and drive off, I'd walk out there and open the door and I'd play with his tools. Why? I don't know. That's just my nature. And so I paid the price when I was a kid. My dad used to beat the tar out of me all the time because of it. But if the IRS tells me, Terry, you cannot do so-and-so, guess what I'm doing the next day?
Right.
So I'm going to do it because, see?
Right.
Don't eat shrimp because you won't like it. I don't know if I like it or not, so I'm going to eat it. Ooh, I like it. See? The reason they tell you something, why do they tell you can't do it? Why do you think they would tell you that?
To further strong-arm me.
See? That's my opinion. So you do what you want to do. I'm not telling you to do it. I don't give legal advice. I'm just telling you that by doing what the IRS says, it never votes well for me. So
I tried to get my 23. I tried to get my 2351, and you said it would take several attempts. And
2358C. It's a 2358C. I know. And see,
sorry, I don't have my notes.
That's fine. That's okay. But see, where the problem comes is that they play the odds. See? Now, let me get, anyway, that's just what happens.
So do I just, on that one, do I just keep repeating the process, just keep writing them back and writing them back?
Well, it costs 50 cents. It costs 50 cents for a stamp. What I would do is I'd send it to you're from Texas, so I'd send it to Austin, and I'd send it to Detroit, I'd send it to Ogden, I'd send it to Andover. In other words, send it, write the letter and then just mail it out. Okay. You're asking me a question you're asking me a question I can't answer. I don't know what they're going to do or when they're going to do it.
Right. So I'm okay. So I'll just keep on sending it until somebody.
That's the best way. That is the best way, in my opinion. Now, is anybody on here Got another question? Okay. Does anybody here have a question?
Got about 10 minutes.
Well, we got 10 minutes. We can call it a night, or you can ask a question.
I have a question.
Great. Go ahead and ask it.
Yes. I fought the IRS, and they sent me my money back. But they only sent 1 year, but they went ahead and put a penalty. So, so they shouldn't have never penalized me because, number one, I'm not the person that they should penalize because I'm not the ones that they're after for taxes to begin with.
Okay. Now hold on a second. So you're saying that they did it to the all caps name?
Yes.
Okay. Now before you go, I want you to finish your question. I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you a check for $7 million.
Okay.
But it's going to be made out to you with your all caps name.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Well,
see, I didn't ask. Wait a second. I didn't ask you that. I'm going to get you a check for $7 million made out to you in your all caps name. What are you going to do with the check?
Figure out where the money came from. I'm a registered nurse. I'm very honest. I'm going to figure out why am I getting it.
Because I'm going to
Girl, you better try to hammer that check.
Well, I don't know. I'm afraid
you better try to hammer that check quick.
Okay, I'm going to help you get a check made out to you for $7 million to your all caps name. What are you going to do with the check?
I want to say I'm going to cash it because what they return exactly what I asked.
Stop. Therein lies the problem. You want to play both sides of the coin. They ain't talking to me, but they're talking to me. When it comes to pay, they're talking to me. When it's talking, it's not about you. Therein lies the problem. You don't even know what you're saying. In other words, okay.
I get it, Carrie. I get it. So what do I do now? I did cash the check.
See, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I did. But that I was asking them in the letters for my money from my W-2s, my erroneous W-2s. I rebutted them, and they did send the money back.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. See, now let me ask you a question: are you a taxpayer?
No.
Okay, now I'm going to read you a letter that I received. You ready for this? Listen to the letter. I'm going to read it to you. I want you to listen to it very clearly, and then you tell me if you want one of this. It says, "Dear taxpayer, thank you for responding. Thank you for responding to our inquiry about the above tax return. Based on your information, we agree that you aren't legally required to file a tax return for the above tax periods. We are taking no further action at this time. Would you like to have one of these letters?"
Yes. I mean that I don't have.
You can't get one. I can get everybody on this. I can get everybody on this call one, but I can't get you one.
Okay.
Why is that?
Why?
Why is that? Okay, dear taxpayer, are you a taxpayer?
Oh, I'm not. So they're not addressing me.
Okay, now wait a minute. It's got my name on it. It says, "Dear taxpayer, you aren't legally required to file a tax return." Now, you don't think that's awkward? Why would a taxpayer not have to file a tax return? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I think I get it. It's just I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm trying to tell you, as soon as you can let go of it being about you, you've got some help. But until you let go of that, there's no help I can do for you because you still think it's about you. The all-caps name is the straw man.
Right, right.
If I walk up to the straw man and I bury my finger in the straw man's eye, what would happen to you?
Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, because it's straw man. You bury your finger in his eye.
That's right. Guess who am I gonna poke my finger in? Whose eye?
You said straw man.
See, you've been taught wrong. Okay. Because what difference does it make? I'm going to send you a check because I feel bad for you. I want to help you. I'm going to write you a check for $3,000. Free of charge. No. Okay. I'm going to send it to you out of my checking account.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the check out to all caps name. What are you going to do?
Well, now that you told me, I can't cash it.
Oh, now you want to steal from me, but you don't want to. Unbelievable. See, you need to understand. I'm not like anybody else. Okay.
So what do I do now? Because I demanded, and I put pressure on them, and they send it. Actually every year I'm about to ask for the rest of the years. Then
ask for the rest of the years. See what they do.
Now, well, they'll give it to me because they did send it.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Ask for a direct deposit.
Okay. I did try doing that.
There's a form for that. Did you know that?
Yeah, there is a form, but they just didn't.
There is. They will. If you fill it out properly, they will, and you give them the right form, they will.
Okay, I see what.
There you go. See?
Okay. All right.
Now, do you know what the problem is? You're in a box and you can't see over the top. Get outside the box. It's a lot more fun. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you for being here today. Does anybody else? I will give you one more chance to ask one more question, then we're going to call it a night.
Terry, this is Dr. Harvey's friend. I just want to make one comment. I love your name. I love your name. My name's Terry also. Spelled the same way.
Okay. Good for you. Lucky dog.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I want you to, does anybody else have a question for me before we hang up here? Now.
If no one has a question, I just have one more comment. To that girl you were just talking to, I hope she tunes in again and keeps coming back. It'll become more clear, honey, if you just keep coming back.
All right. I'm sure you will. Now, if anybody needs anything we talked about tonight, any paperwork, any documents or anything, email Ed, and if he doesn't have them, he'll get a hold of me and I'll send them to him. But what we're doing is we're using Title 26 against the Internal Revenue Service. And for some reason, it just seems to work a whole lot better than this straw man. It's not me and all of that. That just never has worked, and I never got it to work. But when you go to the tax court, and the tax court gives you a document that says the IRS doesn't have any jurisdiction, they have a hard time because it's not the tax court, it's the commissioner. The commissioner, who's the boss. So that I stand on that as my anyway, that's what I use. Okay, I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Kerry.
Well, thank you so much. As if anybody has anything else, otherwise we're going to call it a night.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
God bless you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks a lot.